Not stuck in an office all day, earning the big bucks, living debt-free? Sounds like a pretty good job to me. On top of all that, you can even chase the work and travel dream with a world-recognized skill. You can climb the ranks, or even start your own business. So the construction industry is what you make out of it. You get out what you put in. So let's take a look at a working week in construction, how much you'll earn, and see where the industry can take you. The first day of the job is always nerve-wracking. Luckily, we have some advice to help you stand out on the first day. Number 1, be on time.
Make sure you figure out how you're going to get to this job site and how long it will take you.
Always allow yourself a little extra time just in case. Allow yourself 15 to 30 minutes before you're meant to start.
Make sure to dress appropriately for the business environment. This means if you're in a white-collar business environment, it's probably best you don't wear your summer beach clothes.
Above all these, make sure to ask beforehand if there's a certain dress code.
You'll meet lots of new people during your first few days on site, so there'll be lots of names to remember. Don't be afraid to ask people their names. It'll be a lot less awkward than having to ask them 3 months down the track. The connections you make at work are also super powerful. There's always something a newcomer can learn from an old-timer. Don't be afraid to talk to everyone and network.
As for lunchtime, it's best to bring a cold lunch. Leftovers are easy too. Some places don't have a microwave, so it's better to be safe than hungry.
Advice I'd give to someone starting out in the industry, ask heaps of questions. It's so easy just to do it and not understand why you're doing it. I feel like the person who's asked you to do something will definitely be more than happy to sort of explain further what's going on. I reckon that is so important because it's going to skyrocket your learning, and it will show them, if it's your site manager or a tradie above you or whatever it is, that you're keen, you want to learn. If you sort of sit back and just go through the motions and just do what you're told, and you don't soak in everything that's happening, you sort of get left behind. Whereas if you're asking questions showing that you're keen, it'd be pretty important.
Don't just stand around looking like a stunned mullet, waiting for someone to tell you what to do. Take initiative, and if you're unsure, ask.
Keep an open mind and don't act like know-it-all. Listen to your supervisors and other crew.
And heaven forbid, always ask before using someone else's tools.
Let's be honest. When you think about the construction industry, you're probably thinking about a couple of things. You were told that trades are lazy, high school dropouts, and let's not forget the fact that we were told that these career choices aren't really viable. Like seriously? Industry is always changing. The modern tradie doesn't have to have a plumber's crack.
Wear a high-vis shirt or drive a Toyota Hilux, as much as we all want to. The construction industry is actually where you find some of the most skillful, truly creative, innovative, and most importantly, hardworking people out there. This is where you find designers, artists in their own right, innovators who push the industry forward.
But if you still don't think a role in construction is a career, then I don't know what will be. No 2 days are the same when working in construction. Each week will be different, depending on the job and the industry that you're in.
What's so appealing about it is there's no same day, it's just every day is different, things change, there's a lot of problems come up. It's about just adapting and problem solving.
So what types of work are there? You've got local. They're usually nice and close to home. You'd be working independently or for a small or family business. Private business. You'd be conducting a multitude of different jobs and different locations for a medium to large business. Contractor. Hello, independents. As a contractor, you won't work regularly for one employee, but you'd be running your own business. You can be contracted by anyone to do a specific job. If you really don't feel like it, you can even subcontract this work to someone else and pay them to do it. On-site. Pretty self-explanatory. This is where you'd be working on a construction site. Who would have guessed?
Now, let's talk about hours. You know what they say, the early bird gets the worm.
Most construction work involves early morning starts and early arvo finishes. But the hours and days of work will vary depending on the work you're doing.
Work won't exceed over 38 hours, but if you do, you get some sweet overtime payments. You probably heard the terms blue collar and white collar. Ask any member of society and they'll describe these two categories as follows.
A blue-collar worker is someone who isn't afraid to get their hands dirty, whatever that means. or someone who physically performs the tasks in front of them, for example, a bricklayer.
Whereas a white-collar worker usually sits at a desk like this and doesn't really put their hands on the final product.
For example, an accountant or data analyst. But this is where it gets a bit confusing. What would happen if blue-collar workers started using new technologies such as VR glasses in order to draw out their lines and measurements? Would you still consider this person a blue-collar worker? What if a white-collar worker is not necessarily working behind a desk? They may not be doing hands-on work, but is their action impacting the final product?
In the day-to-day, it is a lot of labour kind of work, like physically building frames, putting trusses on, setting things out. And then on top of that, my role also involves, I guess, managing all the other trades that are coming on site and making sure that the job's running smoothly, reading the plans, consulting with the clients and the architect. A lot of communicating with lots of different people and time managing is a big part of it.
Enter the new-collar worker. A new-collar worker isn't distinguished by a category, as it's a combination between widely used definitions of what a worker is.
As the construction industry grows, so do people grow. As new technologies and methods are introduced, so do people have to change.
The skills that actually end up being important are not always what we expect. Apart from earning some decent cash, the construction industry does have its perks. Number one, you get out of the office.
For the majority of jobs in the construction industry, you won't be stuck behind a desk all day. Thank goodness. Gain a world-recognized skill. No matter where you go around the world, your skills are transferable to other industries as well as other countries. Travel and work overseas. Speaking of internationally recognized skills, construction allows you to work and travel pretty easily. That's the dream. There's room for progression. You can study construction-related degrees or diplomas and get into those paraprofessional and professional pathways we mentioned before. You can even start your own business. The sky's the limit. It's super easy to start. The beauty of construction is that it's pretty easy to crack into the industry. You won't need any prior experience or a pesquiator. Get paid to learn. By doing an apprenticeship or traineeship, this means you don't have a ton of debt hanging over your head like uni. In fact, you actually get paid to learn. Job security. Last we heard, basically every construction job is on the Australian government's National Skills Needs list. It's a market with a heck of a load of demand.
There are heaps of ways of how to get qualified, but some more applicable than others. Let's see the different ways of how to get qualified.
Unis. If you're keen on a white-collar or new-collar career, or just want to jump straight into those management roles, then a uni degree is definitely on the cards. Majority of these courses take between 3 to 5 years and upwards to complete and include architecture, business and commerce, construction management, and engineering. RTO. If you don't think uni is for you, that's okay too. RTOs deliver nationally recognized courses and offer certificates 1, 2, 3 and 4, diplomas, advanced diplomas, graduate certificates and graduate diplomas in hundreds of careers. They're also the go-to if you're wanting to do an apprenticeship or traineeship. Common RTOs are TAFEs, private colleges, community colleges, and higher education institutions. Short courses. Still unsure? Don't worry. RTOs also offer some short courses that are the perfect way to get a taste without diving in head first. These run for roughly 6 to 10 weeks, and after you complete them, you can use your credits towards a further qualification. Heaps of RTOs offer a statement of attainment in building, designing, construction, business and leadership, computer-aided design, electrical, scaffold and rigging, and welding. Pre-apprenticeships and traineeships. Next step is to dive headfirst into a 4-year apprenticeship, right? Imagine putting so much time and effort into an apprenticeship and having it be like nothing you envisioned. Fortunately, there's such thing as a pre-apprenticeship. CSQ runs a program called Trade Start, which helps people get a taste of certain trades before they commit to a full-on apprenticeship or traineeship. Kinda like a try before you buy apprenticeship. Over 12 weeks, you'll make some industry connections, get real-world experience under your belt, and gain an entry-level qualification that can go towards your actual training if you decide to follow through with the trade. White cards. If you're planning on getting a job in the construction industry, you'll need a white card. A white card is a basic construction health and safety training course. They're compulsory for anyone working on a construction site in Australia. because nobody wants any accidents on site. So you should get onto it pretty quickly if you're looking to go into the industry.
If you're interested in those classic blue or even white collar jobs that we mentioned before, you might want to put your hands on an apprenticeship or a traineeship. An apprenticeship is paid on-the-job training for a trade. It usually takes 4 years of studying at a registered training organisation, as well as practical work experience. It's like killing two birds with one stone.
Common apprenticeships include carpentry, roof tiling, joiner, electrician, plumber, engineering, and traineeships.
Traineeships are different than apprenticeships by how long it takes and the amount of work that you do. Traineeships usually have 1 year of full-time study at an RTO and vocational work experience.
Common traineeships include some of the following: human resources, civil construction supervisor, and business administration.
School-based apprentices and trainees can work and study over 2 years. Talk about a head start.
There are heaps of school-based apprenticeships in construction. Some of these include bricklaying, business services, carpentry, civil construction, construction pathways, formwork, and shop fitting.
If you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. I don't know who said that, but it sure checks out. A career in construction is super fulfilling, not to mention it has a huge job satisfaction. Ask anyone you know in the biz and they say it's pretty awesome.
Just to be able to be a support person and make their life a little bit easier is honestly so helpful. And I didn't even think about that when I was starting the job. You never think about like the emotional side of it. You kind of only think about like physical building, like money, but yeah, definitely fulfilling.
Firstly, recognize you're making a difference to the community. How many people can look at a hospital and say, hey, I built that? You know, from homes, roads, shopping centers, you're building stuff that matters most to the community. Secondly, you're making a difference in the economy. It provides jobs and helps fund the community. It also creates infrastructure in which keeps our country moving forward. At the end of the day, we all want a job that fulfills us and makes a difference to the community. But not all of us are suited to fight fires or study medicine. With the ability to work just about anywhere, you're making a huge difference to the world of construction. From roads, hospitals, high-rises, it feels really good to make a difference. Construction workers are the unsung heroes of the world. Not all heroes wear capes, just hard hats and high vis. All that's left to do now is to go out, start your career. Sometimes it's really hard to put your foot in the door in the industry. So how do you stand out from the crowd?
If you're in year 9 or 10, then you're in luck. Picking subjects that are relative to your passions will do you wonders. You'll have all the knowledge you need to stand out in the crowd, and may even have a design project or portfolio to show for it. Don't stress though, unless your specific uni degree has any prerequisites, you'll be sweet no matter what you do.
Everyone remembers their year 10 work experience, but did you know it can actually help you stand out?
Employees want to see your practical experiences. You may have experiences working in other areas, but nothing beats real experience in the industry you want to start your career in. Now it's time to start looking for an employer. Unless you have some sort of a contact in the industry, you're going to have to get that resume of yours to look absolutely spick. There are heaps of free online resources that can help turn your resume from this to this.
Apply for some local job searching sites. Ask your parents if they have any tradie friends. You know, why not give LinkedIn a crack? Ask local businesses for some work experience. You might not get money, but just show who you are. You never know who you're going to meet. The construction industry is sometimes seen as a backup career choice, which requires physical strength. It can be tough, but really rewarding. Construction isn't a backup. They're for the high achievers, the kids who didn't get an ATAR, and those who want to get creative.
Whether you're doing a trade or working in another position within the construction industry, you'll actually need high-level skills in areas like math, communication, critical thinking, technology, and entrepreneurship. Let's look at some of these necessary skills a bit closer. Maths. You'll need a strong knowledge of math, algebra, and geometry to calculate building materials, keep track of measurements, and determine necessary adjustments. Communication. Reading and communication is also an important skill, as construction work requires plenty of documentation and interpretation of blueprints, as well as instructing colleagues and clients. Problem solving. Whether it be inaccurate measurements or delays, problems are always present in construction, so it's important to be able to make quick decisions and think on your feet to provide solutions. Leadership and collaboration. Having leadership abilities will help you, excuse the pun, climb the ladder and advance your career. You'll need strong leadership skills to direct teams, negotiate prices, and manage work sites. Technology. Being adaptable to new technologies such as AR, VR, drones, mobile apps, and construction software is a must in this age of new collar work.
How often do you find yourself sitting in a classroom thinking?
When am I ever going to use this?
Truth is, most of the stuff that you learn in high school doesn't really apply to your post-study life. But if you focus on certain special skills, you give yourself a pat on the back.
Previously, we mentioned subjects such as math, algebra, and geometry are super important. You see, in a subject like math, you're presented with a complex problem. First, you learn to break a large problem into a series of simpler ones, focusing on one step at a time. There are definitely going to be times in your career when you are overwhelmed by what seems to be a huge obstacle. But honing in on these skills allows you to break it down into manageable tasks.
HSC subjects such as design technology, industrial technology, and construction fit are considered the bludge courses. However, there's a huge crossover between these classes and construction.
For example, during your final years, you may create a major work or project. This is a self-directed piece of work that even includes a portfolio. It's an experience that is super close to what you experience in the workforce. We said before that construction entrepreneurs need fundamental business admin skills, including sales, marketing, operations, and finance. What makes business studies the perfect match is that you look specifically at the management of operations, marketing, finance, and human resources in large businesses. It'll do you wonders when you want to start your own business or climb the ladder. Who cares if woodwork doesn't scale as well as biology? If you prefer making things with your hands over looking at them through a microscope, then woodwork is the go for you.
Too often that we're told, in order to get a high-paying job, you have to go through uni. But pathways such as traineeships and apprenticeships certainly pay off. But actually, you can earn more than uni grads. Let's explore some different roles that you can land.
As an apprentice or trainee, it averages between $500 to $800 per week. Across all industries, tradies on average earn about $60.88 per hour. Aussie plumbers and electricians actually charge more than lawyers do. Yikes! It's a common misconception that the blue-collar jobs pay less than white-collar. In fact,
architects, recruiters, and other white-collar workers usually charge between $50 to $250 an hour based on their experience.
it's safe to say that there's definitely potential to earn the big bucks in the construction industry if you work hard enough. The highest paying jobs are construction managers who have the potential to earn between $147,000 to $196,000 per year.
Keen? Sounds pretty good, eh? But where the heck do we even start? Snag yourself an apprenticeship, traineeship, get job qualified, and you're good to go. But there are so many questions like, what do I even need to bring? Who do I sit next to for lunch? Well, don't worry about that, got you all sorted. So now you know what a career in the construction industry is all about and how to make it happen. So now what? By picking relative subjects and paying attention to them and doing some networking, you're bound to have a successful and fulfilling career in the world of construction. The construction industry does include some more well-known trades such as
Electricians, carpenters, and plumbers.
But there are other jobs you won't typically think of when it comes to working in construction. Some people like the idea of working and building in construction sites.
Others get involved in the business side of things. Some get creative, working in the film industry, designing and making props. Some install kitchens and renovate places for a living.
There's something for everyone, and these opportunities will help pivot and progress your career.
There's actually over 70 different possible careers within the construction industry. I mean, look around you. Every school, hospital, office, factory, and house
It was created by someone in the construction industry.